Hello guys and welcome to another video with Cass on the Maizuma channel. What we have for today is a item shop system, guys. So as you can see, it looks pretty cool, and the main goal with this project is to make the system really easy to use, as well as really easy to configure, plus a few additional things. But before I start with the demonstrations, the first thing I want to mention is this is an alpha system, so some important features are missing. I will talk more about those in the end of the video, but the core idea that I would like to demonstrate for this system is already functional. So yeah, this is really exciting. All right, so those are all the products that are available to you guys. So I'm just using colored wool because it's easy to do in the game. And those are the ratios. So we can do all sorts of ratios in here, see? No limits in here. So for instance, this one will cost us 1 diamond and will give us 1 white wool in exchange. We can just select items. We can keep changing this selection. It doesn't matter. And in the end, we can just select whatever we finally want to do. And then we can grab a few diamonds from our ender chest, which is conveniently placed in there, and throw the diamonds in there. And once we hit the confirmation button, it's going to charge us. In this case, 1 diamond for 1 white wool. So as you can see, it just finished charging us, and soon enough, we're going to get our white wool. So this is the product in there. I want to try something that is kind of difficult to do, like maybe this one. So this is a 7:3 ratio, which is usually not so easy to do with systems like this. So let's pick this one. We already have the diamonds in. We have enough diamonds, so let's hit the confirmation button, and we should be charged 7 diamonds, so end up with 56 in the end. So there we go, 56 as expected, and soon enough we're gonna get 3 pink wool as we wanted. Okay, let's try something a little bit crazy now. I know that there is yeah, this one is interesting. So this one will charge us 6 diamonds in exchange for 3 stacks of the, I think it's a lime wool. So let's pick this one. And while the system runs, because it's going to be a little bit slow, I will just show you the redstone and comment about other things. So let's see the system charging us. So it's going to charge 6 diamonds, so we should end up with 50 diamonds, so perfect. And soon enough, we will start getting the lime wool, and we'll get back to this, and we will check if we have 3 stacks in the end. This is a crazy one. It will charge you 65 diamonds, but in the end, you're gonna get 9 stacks of this kind of wool. And this one, 380 diamonds for one single item. This is 5 stacks plus 60 diamonds, not 6 stacks, only 5, because the guy who charges this is probably a maniac. I don't know of any item that can be so expensive in Minecraft, so this is probably going to be a IOU. Alright, the system's almost done here, and there we go, guys. 3 entire stacks amounts are being correctly charged. So let's take a look at the redstone, which is here. So as you can see, it's kind of compact considering what it does. If you guys watched my video named Getting Exact Quantities, I made a system very similar to this, but a lot faster than this one. It was focused on being faster, but but the user interface was very similar to this one. But this one intends to be a little bit more practical because that one was really difficult to build in survival. The first thing easy to notice is the storage system. So it's very easily accessible from here. See, this is where the white wool is, and 1 is missing because we bought from this. We also bought 3 from here, so 3 are missing. So all the storage is really easy to access from here. Up here is where the real magic happens. Those are the components that control the ratios that we can get from this system, and this is done using those shulker boxes. If I mouse over here, you can see that we have the ratios in there. Let me pick up this one just for demonstration purposes. So if I place the shulker box in here, you can see that I have 2 golden nuggets in there and 2 iron nuggets. So this is the ratio. This is going to be a 2:21 exchange. If I aim here, you can see this is a 2:21. So the items in here represent how much we're going to charge and how much the system is going to give back. And they have nothing to do with what is charged. As you can see, despite the many items that we have in here, this will take only the diamonds, and the diamonds are completely independent to what we configure the system with in here. So you can, for example, you can decide to charge emeralds instead of diamonds. So all you need to do is to place an emerald in here. So this is a very modular system. And the way it works is, first of all, we have the selector panel in here. So we select anything, it's going to latch this in here. So this is our selection. It's going to stay here in this little memory, and then everything is connected to this to this little mass in here. So as you can see here, since we selected this option in here, this hopper is going to get unlocked, right? But items from the storage are not going to flow until you hit the confirmation button. The confirmation button is going to unlock the second side of the hoppers, because these hoppers are locked from two sides, one from your selection and one that's unlocked only when the system is ready to give you items, right? Yeah, this is basically how it gets the items. And the way it knows the proportions is once you hit the confirmation button, once again, our selection will empower this block underneath one of these droppers, which is the one we selected, of course. And then once we power the circuit again, the dropper will throw the shulker box inside this hopper line in here. The hopper line will take the shulker box inside this little chamber, and it will start unloading the items. And the items will be unloaded to a item sorter. So the gold item sorter is connected to your storage. So through this red circuit in here, so it starts charging, and when it's done taking diamonds from the chest, then the iron nuggets start coming in through this line and get inside the iron nugget item sorter. And then this basically connects to a very complicated wire in here. This is it's very much crammed in here. So through this line in here, it finally empowers this line for the right amount of time until we get all the items that we configured inside the shulker boxes. So yeah, and those flow directly inside the chest here. I really love how the system takes this works as the input as well as the output of the system. And finally, when the system is done, by the way, there's something that happens in parallel while the shulker box unloads in there with our exchange information. This one's getting loaded with the same content. So basically, we make a copy of the shulker box. So in crazy cases like this one, where we have tons of items to exchange, we don't have to wait twice the time. So it's we load this at the same time as we unload the other one, and when it's empty, we break the shulker box, send it to the item elevator, and send it back to the system. And it knows where to store it back, because this is still going to be selected. So the shulker box will fall inside the appropriate slot in here. And the empty shulker box will replace it and be here empty, waiting for the next request. Let's now talk about some of the limitations of the system as it currently is. And one thing is, this is for now only expandable up to 15, but I would like to make it expandable I would like to make a larger version of this, but it's limited by this item selector that I have in here. But of course I can work on a new version for this. But it's complicated, guys, because this item selector has a really awesome property that even if you spam click in here because your server is lagging or because you're a jerk, it's not going to break this item selector. It's always going to select the last thing where you the last slot where you press the button, so no problems there. And it also has a pretty awesome property, which is how the input works. Because the big problem is if you start doing a big exchange like this one, meanwhile someone might come and press another button. So if this changes, then the shulker box, when it returns with the exchange information, might return to the wrong place. So what we need to do is to disable the input in here. This cannot be changed, but there is a way out here. It's quite elegant because of the design of the selector panel in here. You see the inputs are those node blocks, and they are normally powered, constantly powered. So what I can do here is to basically power the node blocks from another side. This won't cause any pulses in here or anything because those are already powered, so no problems there. And as a consequence, the system cannot sense any changes. So see, this will not change. The system is not currently locking the system when necessary because there's a timing issue, but this can be easily solved. Even this one, I cannot deselect while this is locked. But the way it's supposed to work is the confirmation button is connected to this repeater, so it sends a pulse upwards, but also there is this pair of droppers in here, and this will basically send an item in there to the other slot. It's complicated, guys. Sorry for the crammed space. So it will basically do this and send a signal in here. So if we now connect this in here, every time we press the confirmation button, it will activate the selector panel as well as lock the input. So the input can never be messed with during the processing of items. And the way for this to unlock is when the system is done doing the exchange, the reset shulker box is going to be thrown inside this item elevator. And the item elevator will get the item back in place, but it will also send a signal through this repeater line that you see down here. And finally, hit this block in here and unlock the latch. So for now, I removed this block because the latch is not properly timed, and this is complicated to fix. It looks easy, but it can be complicated to fix. But it's not as complicated as the next issue. So the next issue is quite complicated to fix. So let me show it first, which is the underpayment problem. So say this one, it should charge us 3 diamonds. So if we don't have enough diamonds, like only 2 or maybe 0 diamonds, it's going to work anyways, because it tells the system to charge the player. It's doing it currently. See, the item sorters are working. It tells the system to charge, but it doesn't check if the system actually has diamonds to charge. It will never charge anything other than diamonds or the item that you selected, but if you don't place the items, there is no check for it at the moment. So as you can see here, we got the 32 items that we requested without paying anything. So currently this is working based on trust. But of course we want to change this. But adding this check here is going to be way more complicated than you think, unless you guys help me come up with a few ideas. So I have, I think, only 2 ideas to deal with this problem for now. So let me quickly explain a little bit more in detail how the system does the exchange, because this can be used for other things such as mini games and, well, not more than just item shops. So what you see here is the exchange information, but not only that, this is some sort of programming that we can do inside the shulker boxes, and then we can basically choose a function to execute in here, and these item sorters are the ones that will execute the action. But the beautiful thing is we can keep expanding the system. We can have multiple item sorters. So maybe we have not only a function for gold nuggets and iron nuggets, but for other items as well. Maybe there is a function in here for paper or rotten flesh, and all those things can be configured inside the shulker boxes, and they will do something for a specific or a specified time, right? So the big problem here is there is no way to know if we have enough diamonds unless we send the diamonds to a separate chamber, because there's only one input. I don't have anything against having a double input like this. So one chest is going to have the items that we're going to get, so the products we're going to buy, and the other chest is for payment, because this would make everything a lot easier. So if something costs 50 diamonds, I can just place them there and check with the item sorter. So if the item sorter runs out of items and there are still items in there, that's okay. We have enough in there. But if the item sorter is running, but the payment chest is empty, then it should detect an underpayment. Then I need a real quick way of locking this line in here. And when I lock this line, it means that we are not going to give the items for the player. We're not to the player. We're not giving them any items because it's underpaid. So in this case, if the items, if the payment is in a reserved chamber, we need to get those items back and return the payment to the player without giving the player any of the items, and then we need to reset the system somehow. Those are a lot of steps, guys, and it's complicated to do. So I don't know exactly what would be a smart approach to doing this in a good way and still keep the compactness of the system. It's already very complicated as it is with the shulker box breaking and everything. And the second idea I had would make things a lot simpler, but it makes the system a little bit less flexible. So the idea is if if it's running, if the item sorter can only run as long as items are inside this guy in here. So there's going to be a comparator here, and this is going to be your item sorter. So if items are inside this thing, then the item sorter can work. Once it gets empty, then the item sorter stops, and we need a really fast way and synchronized way, proper way of stopping the item sorter so that it knows that the payment is not complete. And because the payment is not complete, it will automatically not deliver the products. As a consequence, the system will be stuck until the player finishes paying it. The player will need to put more diamonds inside the system. Then it will naturally keep charging the exact quantity that is missing, and then the products will flow inside this chest. So this would be a much easier solution that I kind of like it, but it's less flexible because it doesn't give the player the option to say, oh, I thought I had more money, I should spend more money on something else, let me get my money back. All right, so yeah, this turns things more complicated, guys. So if you have any ideas on how to deal with the underpayment situation, please let me know in the comments. This could be a collaborative project for the alpha or experimental or prototyping series. So, but wait, guys, before you go, I just thought of an amazing idea before the end of the video. So I changed this one, and look what happens now. This is selected, and this will now charge us 4 diamonds. I forgot to change the item frame, but that's okay. So it's going to charge us 4 diamonds. All right, and look what's going to happen, guys. You're going to get a full set of iron arm plus a golden apple, and all you have to do is to configure your chests like this. How amazing is this, guys? Guys, once again, thank you very much for watching. See you soon. Goodbye.